The Gary Dunn Show for November 6, 2018. I'm your host, Gary Smith, and on today's show, we're going to talk to Coach Dunn about this past Saturday's action in the backyard of Greensburg, Pennsylvania against Seton Hill, and then we're going to take a look at the standings and scores from around the PSAC and break down this coming week's opponent, the Bloomsburg Huskies. But first, Coach, we're talking a little bit off camera. It's got to love those close road trips.
Yeah, great. You know, it was the first trip we had all year where we left on Saturday morning just because of the length and the times and distances of our away games. So to have one, you know, right in our backyard, you know, good rivalry game is always nice. I think we were both home by 4:30, 5 o'clock, which is always nice when you're on the road.
Yeah, and for that game on Saturday, being that it was a home game, or not a home game, but an away game, it was pretty close, and you left the day of. How did that change any of your game day procedures or anything like that, or was it just basically get on the bus, go, and
Yeah, we really treat it almost like very similar to a home game. The only difference is we do a quick walk through at Adams Stadium. Saturday morning, we come down to the Student Center, eat a breakfast, get on the bus, and 35, 40 minutes later, we're there. So it wasn't a real bad deal.
And it was a game Saturday. We talked a little bit last week. Seton Hill's one of those teams that historically, it's been a little bit of a rivalry since the proximity between two schools is pretty close, and their team, no matter what their record, always seems like they play tough. And they did again on Saturday, but your team did a great job of overcoming a little bit of adversity and getting the win on the road.
Yeah, and anytime you can get a win on the road in the PSAC, I've said it every week. It's you got to show them play football every week, and it was, you could tell they were ready to play from the start. They hit us with a trick play on the very first play of the game. You could kind of tell that they were going to use every trick in the bag and pull some things that we had to adjust to. And I thought our guys did a really good job of that. Anytime you give up a score on the first play of the game on a trick play, okay, we settled in and really performed well offensively and defensively for that matter in the first half. So it was good to go up there and get back to playing Vulcan football. And I thought our guys responded really well.
Well, after that trick play, your offense did respond, because I think it was either the first 3 possessions or first 4 possessions, your team went down the field and scored in a variety of ways, passes, runs, and it was another game where Nelson Brown had multiple touchdowns, and that seems to be a broken record right now. He's on some kind of a roll this season.
Yeah, Seton Hill had a defensive plan that they were going to play a lot of cover zero, take away our run, and we had some zero checks in during the week that I thought both of our quarterbacks did a really nice job of. And, that's who we want to be. We want to take advantage of what the defense is doing. If you're going to come up and play man coverage across the board, then on the outside, we've got to make plays. And I thought Tyson Hill had a big game. Jordan Danger just starting to get a little bit healthier, and obviously he had a big game. But when we get down in the red zone, and number 9, he's going to get the ball at some point. He does such a great job, and the O-line of 9 does such a great job of breaking tackles, and that's what you have to do down there. There's always going to be somebody unblocked. The O-line can block who they can. There's always going to be 1 or 2 free guys, and 9 does a really good job of finding the end zone.
Well, you took the question right out of my mouth. I was going to say about the offensive line, because a couple of touchdowns were, the inside the 5-yard were, just man-on-man football, and I thought they did a great job of just moving enough bodies to get in the end zone.
Yeah, and that's who we want to be. We get down there, we're going to turn and hand the ball to Nelson, and he's going to do his thing. But the O-line did do a nice job there of creating some holes and enough seams for him to get into the end zone. Was really happy with how we performed offensively for the most part. I know we stalled a little bit in the third quarter and didn't convert some third downs, but they're scholarship players too. And they did a nice job in the third quarter when we had to have a score in the fourth quarter. We had a couple big plays. Derek Caraway made a nice play on a reverse, and they did a nice job of defending, and he just his athletic ability took over. Then we completed a big ball to JD with a guy hanging on his back, Jordan Dandridge, and next thing you know, we're back up 2-3 scores, and we felt good about it.
And it was a game on Saturday, if you watched the game or listened to it on 91.9 WCAL. Noah Mitchell went down with an injury, but quarterbacks, I think, combined for over 350 yards passing, or 335. So Alsobrooks came in and did a great job. You mentioned that rainbow pass down the sideline. That was one of the best balls I think seen in a while, all year, at any level of college football, and that's coming pretty much cold off the bench. And you really saw your team kind of get up for that, saying, "Hey, we're fine."
Yeah, Brian did a nice job. We got great confidence in Brian that when he comes in a game that we're not going to lose much. And what Seton Hill decided to do was play more man coverage, try and take away our run, and he made some really nice throws there in the second half to put that game away. But Brian's a good player. I'm sure he was tired. He punted, he kicked off, he kicked extra points. He played quarterback. He was doing a little bit of everything. But he had a tackle on the kickoff team, so he was probably tired on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I think he definitely earned a game. Balling on the defensive side, your linebackers were really causing problems for Seton Hill. It seemed like they were in the backfield pretty much anytime Seton Hill was dropping back to pass. I mean, you have a really fast defense out there, and it showed on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought our defense played well. Obviously, anytime you give up the big play on the first play of the game, you're a little bit disappointed with that because we had a guy kind of out of position, didn't have to defend that play. He should have defended the guy he was on. But that happens. Our kids are so aggressive and they're trying to make plays that sometimes that's a learning experience, and we can grow and learn from that, and hopefully it won't happen again. But I thought our defense played really well. Seton Hill has a dynamic offense. They do a lot of different things. They've got a lot of really, really good skill players. They probably got one of the premier wide receivers in the league, and I thought for the most part we did a nice job of taking him out of the game. He had a couple catches, but when you're that good and they're designing their offense to get him the ball, he's going to have a couple catches. Our two young corners, Darrell Jackson and Jamal Martin, did a really nice job on the outside, and then I thought London Clyde played a really good game. So I was really happy with the effort of the defense.
And one other thing in the broken record category, it seems like every week we talk about your special teams making an impact, and this time score a touchdown. It wasn't a block, it was a snap over the head, but we were talking a little bit up in the press box about it. I think that might have been something that Seton Hill knew you were the reputation, your special teams, and that was in a position where a block would have been detrimental, and the center just kind of snapped overhead, and it was like sharks in blood on the water for who was going to get that touchdown for your special teams.
That was really good, and I think you're right. I think Coach Wilson does a good job with our special teams and tries to put pressures on kickers. And it's not necessarily that we're trying to block a kick. We're trying to get that kick out quick and put it in their mind, and I think in the back of their mind, maybe that was a factor. Hey, we know they're going to come. We had prepared for their punt team through the first 10 weeks of the season. They ran one punt, and then we come out against us, and it was a completely different punt than they had showed on film. And I thought those guys, our players, did a nice job of adjusting that. And as the game went on, you could see that phase got better. But our special teams are playing really well. We blocked another kick. I think that's probably 4 or 5 weeks in a row that we were able to block an extra point, which is big, So those guys are definitely giving our offense and defense an opportunity, and I think our special teams are continuing to get better each week.
Well, that's enough talking about this past Saturday. Let's look at it in pictures and words. Here's the highlights from this Saturday's action against Seton Hill. And then after the break, Coach and I will break down this upcoming week's opponent, Bloomsburg, and we'll take a trip around the PSAC and see all the scores and standings. You're watching The Gary Dunn Show right here on CUTV.
Toss into the backfield here, and they're going to go ahead and let this one fly, and it is wrangled in there, and heading towards the end zone is that receiving man, and he will find his way in on the first play of the game. Touchdown, Griffins. Jordan Dandridge in motion, handoff to Nelson Brown once again. Nelson Brown dances his way through, jumps over the man, and finds his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Vulcan. He's looking to throw in that far corner of the end zone, and he delivers a great strike to Chad Livingston, who hurdles that fence into the parking lot. This one is in the hands of Mitchell. He's looking to throw towards the end zone, and he hits Tyson Hill, who is wide open in the end zone. Has the snap, looking to throw into that far corner of the end zone, and he hits his man. Great catch there. Number 12, Michael. He's got it, dropping back on the second down. He's throwing towards the end zone, and his man has it. Jordan Dandridge into the end zone, and it is a touchdown. Handoff to Brown. Brown makes his way, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Vulcans. Bit of a high snap, and it's rolling towards the end zone. California still trying to get a hold of it, diving on top of that one. And it will be a touchdown for the Vulcans.
Are you a visual storyteller? The Cal Times and CUTV is looking for students with an interest in expanding their skills in photography and videography. We call it visual journalism, and we're here to offer you opportunities to learn how to shoot and edit from a wide range of events at California University of Pennsylvania. Our focus is on local coverage of sports and news events from campus and around the region. We provide on-site training as we help you develop your skills as a visual, multimedia storyteller for the Cal Times newspaper and CUTV News Center. To learn more about visual journalism opportunities and join our team, visit our media production facility in the Natali Student Center or email the Cal Times at caltimes@calu.edu.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experience as possible.
A few reminders when attending the Mike Stud and Skizzy Mars concert. No bags larger than an index card. No outside food or beverage. No liquids. No illegal substances. No juuling or vaping. You must have a ticket with you to be admitted into the show. All people and items are subject to search upon admittance to the show.
And welcome back to the Gary Dunn Show on CUTV. I'm Gary Smith, and I'm with Coach Dunn. And now it's the time we talk about this upcoming week's opponent, Bloomsburg. And usually we have highlights of the last time we played them. But it's been a few years since we played Bloomsburg, and it's one of those teams that, if you look back in the history, it seems like those games come in bunches. There was a bunch in the 40s and 50s, and then like a big lull to the 70s, a couple in the 80s and 90s, and then a couple last couple years. So it's not a team we see every year, but I mean, I know you've been looking at them on tape. So what do we have to see this week against Bloomsburg?
Yeah, good football team coming in 6-4. I believe they've won their last 4 games. Playing really, really good football in all 3 phases right now. Defensively, very aggressive style defense. Do a lot of different things. Throw a lot of different coverages at you. I think their defensive line is probably one of the best defensive lines in the entire league. They've got some big kids. They've got some fast kids. They really like to get after the quarterback. They play well against the run. I think they're giving up 20 points a game. 100 yards rushing, maybe close to 200 passing, so right around 300 yards. But really disciplined defense that makes you beat them. And it's going to be a tough test. You flip over offensively, different than probably anybody we played this year. They're a pro-style offense. A lot of tight ends, 2-back formations, a lot of sprint out. They've got 2 or 3 really good running backs. They got 2 running backs that they kind of use. I think they're both averaging 6 yards a carry. They've got a quarterback that makes plays when he needs to, and they're going to run the ball first. And we've got to do a good job of stopping the run. They're an extremely well coached group. They're very disciplined. So it's going to be a tough test here on Saturday.
And it seems like Bloomsburg, if you look back at least in the last 15, 20 years, that's what their DNA is, running back. I mean, they've been basically running back you in the PSAC consistently. Now, how do you prepare for a team that, the way the PSAC schedule is, the last week's always, you have a team, but based on 800 factors, you may not play that team. So how early in the process, or when do you start, kind of looking at different scenarios for that last week as a coaching staff? Yeah,
our coaching staff always starts at the week before. So our guys, once we get the game plan done for the current opponent of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a lot of those guys advance to the next team and start working on that. So you have the games broke down when you come into the office Sunday morning, and then you really jump into your plan on Sunday morning. We meet with our guys at 3 o'clock on Monday, so the plan's kind of in. By 3 o'clock, the base plan's kind of in. Then throughout the week, you're finalizing everything. So, our coaching staff puts a tremendous amount of work in, and to advance and break down a team a week before and have it ready, so that we can put our guys in the best position to be successful. And we've done a good job of that.
And also this Saturday is the last game of the regular season, last home game. So senior day. And this is a group that's been with you for a few years. What does that mean? Well, first of all, what does that mean for you to see this group you know.
Yeah, just excited for them. You know, I can vividly remember my senior day here at Cal U, and you know those guys put so much work in, and to see them, and I didn't start their career with them, to see the people they become, the students they become, and just to see how they mature throughout their time here is special. And you know, you never want to lose them. You know, I wish we didn't graduate anybody, but I'm excited for those guys. You know, to go on with life's work and get their degree. We have 2 or 3 guys that have already graduated that are currently in grad school. So it's a special day for them and their family to kind of celebrate their career here at Cal U, and all those guys have had great careers.
As you mentioned, you had a senior day. It wasn't that long ago, a few years ago. But as a former player and as a player, what's that like having your last game as a player on that field?
Yeah, it's tough because, you know, it's their last guaranteed opportunity to play football. So, you know, most of these guys have been playing since they're 6, 7, 8 years old, and to know that this is your last guaranteed opportunity, it's an emotional day. And you know, that's what I'm going to talk to our group about. You know, we've got to keep things in perspective and really concentrate and battle through and stay between the lines. And obviously, I know they're going to play as hard as they can. That's the one thing you can always count on is our guys are going to battle and compete for 60 minutes. And like I said, it's special on senior day.
And make sure you come out this Saturday on senior day. We've had great crowds this
Absolutely.
year. I mean, I don't know what the secret's been, but it seems like every time you look up in the stadium this year, Coach, the crowd is full and into it. The student section has been there the entire year, so make sure you come on out. It's going to be a little cold on Saturday, so make sure you bring a couple extra red and black blankets and jackets and everything like that. Game will be 1 o'clock at Adamson Stadium, so come out and salute the team and salute the seniors. If you can't make it, if you have a note, you can listen to the game on 91.9 FM WCAL on the Radio FX app, and also on the PSAC network, which you can access through calvulcans.com. But before we end the show, let's take a look around the PSAC and put a ribbon on this past week and look where everything stands after this week. The West scoreboard, as we talked about, Kyle over Seton Hill, 49-34. Mercyhurst and Clarion in a defensive struggle. And I tell you what, those two scores, 14-7 for Clarion Mercyhurst and IUP Edinboro, 13-6. If you would have told me last week that there were going to be 2 games that were going to be that score, I would not have guessed that it would have been those 2 games because IUP's been putting up some points this year, and Edinboro has not been stopping a lot of teams. Same thing, Mercyhurst, Clarion. It's a little bit of a shootout. So 2 defensive games, you don't see that much anymore in college football.
No, you don't. Mercyhurst has done a nice job coming back after we played them. I think they've won the last 2 ball games and really well coached. Obviously, Edinboro got a big. That was a game I highlighted for you. I thought that was going to be a good game up there. I think Indiana had a score with 6 or 7 minutes left to take that game. I believe it was tied, and then obviously Slippery Rock rolled pretty good over Gannon.
Let's take a look at the PSAC East for the final week of divisional play. Kutztown all over Millersville, 62-10. This upcoming week's opponent, Bloomsburg, 34, West Liberty, 31. Shippensburg over East Stroudsburg, 48-7. I don't believe any coach is retired in that game, so it's 1 week without a retirement for East Stroudsburg. And the funny thing about that was all my friends on social media were getting the updates about a week later. Like, did you see this? I mean, yeah, it was a week ago when Coach Dowd retired. So it's still something that's making the rounds on social media that, unusual circumstance where he retired with 4 seconds left. And then Westchester, 48-14 over Lock Haven. Let's look at the final PSAC standings in both the West and the East after the final week of divisional play. And we've known pretty much the standings for the past couple weeks with Slippery Rock on top representing the West. IUP California will be tied for second place in the PSAC West, and Edinboro, Mercyhurst, and the rest. And let's take a look over at the PSAC East. This will be the last week. We'll see one less team as Shepherd is set to join the PSAC East next year. Westchester won the division 6-0, and then Kutztown 5-1, Bloomsburg 4-2. So a lot of good football to be played. And let's take a look at this week's schedule. There's a lot of interesting matchups, and you can see all the games are going to be done or kicked off by 1:05. So a lot of football in about a 65-minute window there kicking off. Of course, highlighted with Bloomsburg, California, and then the PSAC championship game, Westchester at Slippery Rock. But, Coach, aside from those 2 games,
Gotcha.
If you're a fan, what's the game you would point people to watch?
Kutztown and Edinboro. Edinboro. Kutztown's a really, really good football team. I think they're 9-1 right now, and really good football team. But Edinboro plays really well at home. You saw that last week against Indiana, and I know Coach up there will have his guys ready to play. So that'd be the other one, other than the 2 big ones.
So you heard it from Coach. Make sure you have your PSAC app installed on your phone and also on your TV, and search around and watch a couple different games this Saturday. And Coach, that'll wrap it up for this edition. Good luck Saturday, and congratulations to all the seniors playing their last game at Adamson Stadium, because like I said, it's been a treat to watch, as a broadcaster, to see what those players have done over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I know I say it a lot, but our guys and our alumni and our fans really like to follow Vulcan football, and you guys provide a market for that, so we appreciate it. And thanks to the fans. We've had great support from the students to the alumni to folks. Couldn't be happier with where our program's going. Maybe didn't finish the way we wanted it earlier in the year, but our guys are working extremely hard. We've got a young bunch, and the future of Vulcan football is bright, and we're going to go out and we're going to get everything we got this weekend.
So 1 o'clock Saturday, Adamson Stadium. Like I said, be prepared for the cold weather and be loud for Coach Dunn and his team. So for Coach Dunn, I'm Gary Smith. You've been watching the Gary Dunn Show right here on CUTV.